For over 2 decades, Rocky Carroll has been a cornerstone of NCIS, portraying the steadfast and strategic director Leon Vance with a gravitas that anchored the sprawling procedural drama. His presence on screen was more than just authoritative, it was familial. To fans, Vance was not only the leader of NCIS, but also the quiet moral compass of the series, often balancing Gibbs' sometimes unorthodox methods with procedural rigor and unwavering integrity. So when news broke of Vance's sudden exit in the 500th episode, fans were stunned. Did Rocky Carroll quit? And if so, why? Or was this a twist brewed entirely by the showrunners? The truth, as it turns out, is as nuanced as the man himself. The 500th episode of NCIS was billed as a milestone event, promising callbacks to past storylines, high-stakes drama, and emotional payoffs. For viewers, it delivered all of that and more, but none of them expected the departure of the stoic Director Vance. Across social media, reactions ranged from disbelief to heartbreak. Twitter and fan forums exploded with messages like, "I can't believe Vance is gone," and "Rocky Carroll didn't deserve this." In the wake of these reactions, speculation ran rampant. Had Carroll grown tired of the show? Was there a behind-the-scenes conflict? Or was this carefully orchestrated by the writers to rejuvenate a long-running series? According to insiders and interviews with Carroll himself, the story is more about timing, legacy, and creative choice than any acrimony. Carroll, who joined NCIS in 2003 after initially appearing as a guest star, had become the longest-serving African-American actor in the show's history. Over 20 years, he saw the series evolve through multiple cast changes, story arcs, and leadership shifts. Vance was not just a character. He was a repository of history and emotional resonance. Carroll had previously stated that his tenure on NCIS had been immensely fulfilling, but even the most dedicated actors eventually reach a point where continuing indefinitely may risk diminishing the character they've built. "I've always wanted Vance to leave on a strong note, not fade away," Carroll said in a recent interview. This sentiment underscores a philosophy rarely acknowledged in long-running shows. Leaving on your own terms preserves dignity for both actor and character. But the narrative on screen added layers of complexity that fans might not have anticipated. Vance's exit was written not as a quiet retirement, but as a dramatic, story-driven event. Without giving away all the spoilers, suffice it to say that the plotline intertwined with long-brewing threats to NCIS and Vance's personal life, culminating in a departure that resonated emotionally with both the characters and the audience. In interviews, Carroll emphasized that he trusted the writers to honor Vance's journey. "I knew they wouldn't take it lightly," he said. "This is Vance's story, not just Rocky's. It had to feel earned." The speculation about Carroll quitting emerges from a common misunderstanding in television. Actors leaving shows are often framed as abrupt or contentious departures, but the reality is usually far less sensational. In many cases, like Carroll's, it's about contract cycles, personal milestones, and the right narrative moment. For Carroll, the 500th episode was perfect, a symbolic milestone that marked both longevity and legacy. It offered a sense of closure, not just for the character, but for him personally. Walking away after over 20 years on one of television's most iconic procedural dramas is no small feat, and doing so during such a pivotal episode ensured that his exit carried weight. Fans, understandably, felt blindsided. Director Vance was more than a character. He was a figure of stability in a cast that saw frequent changes. From Gibbs' iconic leadership to the younger agents like Torres and Knight, Vance was the constant. Removing him risked destabilizing that equilibrium, but it also opened creative doors for the show's future. As Carroll himself noted, change is inevitable. NCIS has survived multiple cast rotations, and Vance leaving is part of that evolution. It's a reminder that even the most established shows must occasionally shake the foundations to remain fresh and relevant. Behind the scenes, Carroll's decision was reportedly collaborative rather than contentious. The writers and producers, including the showrunner, had long conversations with Carroll about the trajectory of Vance's story. They debated whether the exit should be permanent or a temporary leave, whether it should involve high drama or subtle narrative closure. In the end, Carroll's input was pivotal. He wanted an ending that would resonate, that would allow Vance to remain a memorable figure without diminishing the show's continuity. This kind of creative partnership is rare in long-running series, where contractual and scheduling pressures often dictate exits more than artistic considerations. Vance's departure also reflects a broader theme in storytelling: legacy versus continuity. By leaving at the right moment, Carroll ensured that Vance's legacy would remain intact. Fans are still dissecting the episode, exploring the subtle callbacks to earlier seasons, the personal sacrifices Vance made, and the understated heroism that defined his leadership. It's a departure that feels earned, not contrived, and it illustrates how television can handle major character exits thoughtfully, rather than as mere plot devices. Moreover, Carroll's exit is a reminder of the human element behind television. Actors grow, audiences evolve, and storylines must adapt. While social media commentary often paints departures as scandalous, the reality is more complex. They are human decisions, often made after careful reflection and dialogue. Rocky Carroll's exit wasn't about dissatisfaction, conflict, or quitting in frustration. It was about timing, respect for the character, and the understanding that Vance's story deserved closure. In the wake of the 500th episode, fans continue to speculate about the future of NCIS. Who will step into Vance's shoes? How will the dynamics shift among Gibbs, Torres, Knight, and the remaining team? These questions underscore the impact of Carroll's departure. He wasn't just leaving a role, he was altering the structural and emotional framework of a beloved show. Yet even as fans mourn, there's a sense of gratitude. For more than 2 decades, Carroll brought depth, gravitas, and humanity to director Leon Vance, creating a legacy that will echo in the series long after his final scene. Ultimately, Rocky Carroll didn't quit NCIS in the sensational sense the headlines implied. He made a thoughtful, deliberate choice to end a chapter on a high note, ensuring that both he and his character exited with dignity and impact. Director Vance's exit was shocking, yes, but it was also a story well told, a character arc concluded with integrity, and a milestone moment that honored a remarkable 20-year journey. In the annals of procedural television, few departures resonate as strongly, not because of controversy, but because of care, respect, and the understanding that sometimes leaving is the most powerful way to be remembered. For viewers who have followed NCIS for years, the departure of Director Vance hit harder than a plot twist in a season finale cliffhanger. Social media erupted almost immediately after the episode aired. Hashtags like RIP Vance, Rocky Carroll Forever, and NCIS 500 began trending as fans shared GIFs, clips, and emotional tributes. Some fans expressed disbelief that the show would remove such a steady figure, tweeting, "NCIS without Vance is like a ship without its compass." Others reminisced about pivotal Vance moments, negotiating tense standoffs, confronting internal corruption, or delivering those quiet, piercing looks that conveyed volumes without a single word. The reaction wasn't all shock. There was also an outpouring of gratitude. Many fans noted that Carroll had always brought a sense of gravitas and moral clarity to the role, describing him as the anchor of the show or the calm in the storm. Longtime viewers who had grown up watching the character reflected on how Vance's leadership often mirrored real-life dilemmas, balancing duty with ethics, career with family, and justice with compassion. In short, Vance wasn't just a character. They felt he was a friend, a mentor, even a surrogate family figure. And when he left, that absence was palpable. Behind the scenes, Carroll's exit was meticulously planned. Unlike sudden exits caused by disputes or contract issues, this was a story-driven departure that involved months of discussion with the writers and producers. According to sources close to the production, Carroll had expressed his desire to leave in a way that honored Vance's legacy. The creative team responded by crafting an arc that was emotionally satisfying, narratively coherent, and respectful of the 500-episode milestone. It wasn't just about removing a character. It was about celebrating decades of storytelling. Every line, every scene, and every callback was carefully chosen to underscore Vance's impact. Interestingly, Carroll has hinted that the departure might not be entirely permanent. In interviews, he teased that there's room for guest appearances or flashbacks in future seasons. This subtle flexibility allows the show to maintain continuity while giving the door a small crack for nostalgia or pivotal story arcs. Fans speculating online have taken this as hope, imagining scenarios where Vance might return to advise the team or resolve unfinished business, much like Gibbs' occasional off-screen guidance. From a narrative standpoint, Vance's exit has shifted the power dynamics within the NCIS team. With the director's chair vacant, remaining characters like Gibbs, Torres, Knight, and even McGee are navigating new challenges. The show has cleverly used this transition to explore themes of leadership, trust, and legacy. How does the team operate without Vance's steady hand? Who will rise to fill the gap? And how will the absence of moral authority affect decision-making? These questions have created a sense of anticipation and renewed dramatic tension, exactly what long-running shows need to avoid stagnation. The writer's choice to make Vance's exit dramatic rather than understated was also strategic. It allowed the audience to fully process the significance of his absence while leaving a lasting emotional imprint. Some critics have noted that this approach sets a precedent for handling future departures, giving characters closure rather than abruptly writing them off. For Carroll, this meant that Vance's final moments were not only meaningful, but also memorable, allowing the actor to showcase the depth, complexity, and quiet heroism that fans had come to love over 2 decades. Carroll's decision also reflects a broader reality of television careers. Longevity can be both a blessing and a challenge. Playing the same character for more than 20 years requires balancing personal growth, artistic ambition, and professional commitment. Carroll's exit is a reminder that even iconic roles have natural endpoints. Leaving on a high note ensures that Vance's legacy endures, rather than risks fading into a character that overstays its welcome. For fans, this is bittersweet. The character is gone, but the memory, influence, and significance remain intact. Ultimately, Rocky Carroll's departure from NCIS is less about quitting and more about concluding a chapter with integrity. He leaves behind a legacy that few procedural characters achieve, a leader whose presence shaped the narrative, influenced other characters' growth, and resonated with viewers as a figure of stability and moral strength. While the 500th episode shocked audiences, it also offered a reminder of why the show has lasted so long: the careful crafting of character, story, and emotional resonance. The future of NCIS without Director Vance will undoubtedly bring new challenges, but it also opens opportunities for fresh storylines and character development. Carroll's exit, while emotional, is ultimately a gift, a chance for the series to evolve while honoring the man and the character who helped define it. Fans may mourn Vance's absence, but they can take comfort knowing that the character left with dignity, purpose, and the kind of impact that makes television history. As social media continues to buzz and retrospectives emerge, one thing is clear: Rocky Carroll didn't quit NCIS out of frustration or conflict. He left on his own terms, ensuring that director Leon Vance's story ended the way it deserved, to be remembered, respected, and celebrated. In the world of long-running TV, that's a rare triumph, and for fans, a bittersweet farewell that will linger far beyond the 500th episode.